come from Deputy Prime Minister. Firstly, I'm going to talk to you about the quantity of information that they are in favor of on their side. And secondly, I'm going to talk to you about the quality of information and how we are able to better guarantee the quality of information that we are able to acquire on our side of the house. But before that, let's take the case we heard from the previous speaker. Firstly, they said that these people are already grown up. What we told you on our side of the house, that not only the individual harm, but the problem is that state interest and going against the state interest. For example, paying out a lot of ransoms for the terrorist organization, for example, even if these payers are private individuals, but still that necessarily empowers the people or empowers the terrorist organization. And the biggest problem is that the terrorist organization have now incentive to abduct a lot of people from these specific countries, right? Therefore, the future participants of these freelance journalists or whatever media corporations or media actors are going to be involved or going to be specifically targeted by the specific terrorist organization if once they ransoms, right? That means that it not necessarily damages and undermines the societal interest that they want to support on their side. That's why not just in specific individual problem, but society as a whole has been undermine the importance of state interest. That means that even if we assume that individual right is important, but state interest is more important in comparative. That's why just because they are grown up doesn't mean a legitimate reason for the media corporations from being able to buy that. So let's go into this. No, thank you. Let's deal with firstly quantity of information. We already told you that what we heard from their side, the quantity of information is important. But they haven't really talked to you to what extent quantity of information is important, right? We are going to talk to you the reasonable level of quantity of information can be guaranteed on our side. Firstly, why is that? On 3 levels of reasons. Firstly, because we are able to have a YouTubes to be able to be uploaded on a daily basis. For example, refugees or most of the people who are living in the specific conflict areas, no thank you, or residents of the Syria, for example, are able to upload the information on a daily basis, no thank you. Therefore, they are able to have a more accessible information in the currently, for example, via SNS, no thank you. Therefore, the quantity of information could be secured. But secondly, in a political way, for example, multiple actors are currently involved in the conflict areas. No, thank you. For example, the opposition party who are actually targeting the state army. For example, in Syrian conflict, we have a lot of insurgencies who have information sources. Therefore, they have incentive to upload, for example, state failures and whatnot, right? State genocide necessarily being a specific target or the specific interest of these opposition parties to be able to, no, thank you, publicize those information in order to decrease the soft power of counterparts, right? That means that we already have a lot of actors who are actually involved in the war-affected areas. That means that diversity of information could be secured on the other side of the house. But thirdly, we tell you that the quantity of information can be acquired on the other side is because they are drones, right? Because the development of drones are currently spectacular, means that we are able to launch a lot of drones into the conflict areas on the other side of the house. And specifically, we are developing AI technologies. So that means that we are having an unarmed drones to be able to inspect those areas. That means the quantity of information will never be decreased under their side of the house to the extent that the people are not able to make a rational decision on their side. Even if the quantity of information slightly decreased under their side, but doesn't to the extent that problematic on the democratic decision that they want to support on their side. Yes.
If you say freelance journalists can use YouTube or SNS, isn't it this killing your point itself? Because even after taking proposal, these kinds of people can get the fame.
No, what we are saying is that current residents of these specific conflict-affected zone are able to upload their information by themselves. That's why we don't need any freelance journalists going in that particular area. That's the point. So, secondly, what is the quality of information? What they said is media corporation are counterbalance of the state in the first place. We tell you, if they said that classified information is necessary to counter the state interest, we tell you that is not going to be mutually exclusive on both sides, right? Because anyway, media corporation will purchase this information and at the end of the day distribute it to the public. That's why media corporations are going to be the actors who are going to distribute the information anyway on both sides. Means that even if freelance journalists or the government are going to be involved in the media corporations, then governments are able to shut down information from the media sources, right? That means if government have an active incentive to crack down on all of the all of the media information, then the consequences are not going to be mutually exclusive. The crucial difference that we are telling you on our side of the house is that uniqueness of the conflict affected area means that they said like internal inspection doesn't work because they are also having like internal inspection within the media corporation. But what we are saying is it is impossible after those information being conveyed to the media corporation and those who are inside the corporation are going to inspect. What we are saying is that mutual inspection with in the areas of conflict areas to be able to inspect whether or not that source of information is trustworthy or not. No, thank you. Because that means that people are, like in the heat of the moment, people are mutually inspecting with each other inside the group of the journalists from our corporation. That means that they are able to inspect whether or not that information sources is like trustworthy or not. That is the quality of information that we are going to acquire on our side of the house. So let's give you a comparative here, because they said like state should. Like media corporation should be independent or should be a counterbalance of the state authority. We tell you always that the large media corporation, we agree to a certain extent large media corporation have connection with the government. Most of the time that the government controls radiation of media corporation, so we have to agree that media are not always the counterbalance of the state authority. That's why quality of information from this particular trustworthy sources of information is particularly important in order to distribute the information, right? Because even anyway on both sides of the house that the government will be involved in the information control, the question is whether that non-control area of information is not distorted at the point of freelance journalists will publicize or convey to the media corporation. On the our side, we are able to guarantee more quality guaranteed information on the our side, even if we take a best case scenario that even to a very slightly extent that there are reduced the quantity of information under their side. With that, we support.